Hey guys, what's up? So as I told you guys in my last video, I am going to quickly explain here why I have been gone for these last couple of months. So I'm going to try to make this video as quick as possible because it's quite a long story and I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to be here watching this for like 20 minutes. So as you read by the title, I had anxiety, and that wasn't due to the fact that I was stressed or worried or I went through something traumatizing for me to get anxiety. It was actually because I got prescribed the wrong medication. True story. So it started off by me going to the doctors because I had a really high fever. I had this cough that was going on for like about a month and it wasn't getting better, and I also had this horrible tooth pain, which I had that figured out already because I went to dentist and apparently had to get all 4 of my wisdom teeth removed. So I had that appointment coming up, so I had to see a different doctor than my primary care physician because she wasn't in that day, and I told her all my symptoms including my tooth pain. And so she tells me, okay, well, I'm gonna give you cough medication and antibiotics. So I was like, okay, cough medication for my cough, antibiotics for my tooth. Went home, took them in hopes that I was going to feel a lot more better. But 2 days passed by and I still had a fever. It was like 103, 104. It wasn't going down. I had it for like the past couple of 2-3 days. So this time I was like, screw the doctors, I'm gonna go to the urgent care. Went to the urgent care. They drew out so much blood from me, connected me to an IV fluid because apparently I was dehydrated from all that fever, and they did a chest x-ray and I forgot what else, but everything came out normal. Doctor told me it was something viral that was going on, that hopefully I was going to feel better within a couple of days. The next day I had my very first anxiety attack, and that was very scary because I never had any of those symptoms before in my life. So basically I was trying to go to sleep when all of a sudden my heart started to beat really fast. I checked my pulse, it was irregular, it kept like skipping a beat. On the way to the ER, my whole body was falling asleep. My arms, my legs, it felt so tingly. I couldn't even move them, they were so weak. I hope you guys cannot hear that scream because that was my little sister. And since my mom went with me that day, she had already experienced anxiety before in the past, and she quickly knew that it was anxiety what I was going through. And so I was like on the verge of fainting, and she quickly tells me, breathe a certain way. And I started to breathe the way that she was telling me to, and weirdly enough, it calmed all my symptoms down. So we got to the hospital, doctor saw me, and he asked me this question: why did you get this medication prescribed? And I told him which one, and he said the antibiotic. I told him, oh, that's for my tooth. And he looks at me and he tells me, no, that's not for your tooth. That antibiotic is actually if you had bronchitis or pneumonia. And what I don't understand is that you had a chest x-ray just a couple of days ago here and it came out normal. I don't understand why doctor didn't take you off of that medication. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I was taking the wrong medication this whole time. And I do remember the previous doctor who ordered the x-ray, she had asked me the same question too. Why are you taking this medication? And I told her, but from there she didn't say anything else. She just, you know, ordered the x-rays for me. When it came out normal, she didn't even tell me like, okay, you don't even need this, let me give you a different medication. Versus this doctor who I saw the next day, he actually took me off of it and finally gave me the right medication for my tooth pain, which he quickly figured out that that's what was causing my fever. But at that point, I wasn't diagnosed with anxiety yet. We figured it was, but we didn't know what was causing it. It just, my body wasn't the same. I remember constantly losing appetite. I literally lost 10 pounds within that 1 week. Because I had a fever for like 2-3 days, I developed a cold sore after it was gone. And I mean, I've had cold sores before in my mouth. They're usually in my tongue and they go away within the next day. This time it was like right behind, like where my tonsil area is at. So everything that I ate, everything that I drank, it would hit those 2 big huge cold sores and it would hurt so bad. And then apart from that, I had this toothache that still wasn't completely gone. So everything that I chewed, it would hurt so bad. And then my anxiety even if I ate, I just wasn't hungry. I lost so much appetite, and parents, my family, my fiance just didn't know why because I wasn't diagnosed with anxiety yet. We figured it was, but we weren't 100% sure that it was. So I lost 10 pounds. It was crazy. I remember I looked at myself in the mirror once and I started crying because as much as I was trying to eat, I couldn't. I really couldn't. I just wasn't hungry. And then shortly a couple days after, I had my second anxiety attack. Now that one I think was the most scariest because the ambulance actually had to take me this time to the hospital. I was having really bad chest pain. My arm, I remember my left arm really hurt, and when I called the paramedics because I was alone at home, they had thought that I was about to have a heart attack because of the symptoms that I was having. They took me to the hospital, and then right then and there I remember I just fell down to the floor because my lungs just closed up out of nowhere. Like I couldn't breathe. I was literally gasping for air, and it was so upsetting because there was a nurse right there. I mean, it was me and a nurse and then two other nurses. The other two stopped midway and they were just staring at me, not knowing what to do. The other nurse, I guess he clearly knew, and instead of him getting up and helping me, he was on his computer. And so all these thoughts were just rushing through my head, like I'm about to die, I'm about to die, I need to do something. Why isn't he helping me? Why aren't those two other nurses helping me? And out of all that crazy madness going through my head and what I was going through, I just remember when my mom told me to breathe a certain way. So I'm like, either I die right here or I try my best to somehow get some air inside my lungs. And so I started to breathe that way, and then slowly and surely my breathing rate started to come back, like little by little. And then that's when finally the nurse gets up and he starts telling me to breathe that way, and I'm like, really? I remember just looking at him and saying, I don't need you anymore. And so I ruined myself, and I literally gave him the cold shoulder because I couldn't believe that he didn't get up and help. That was the day when I finally got diagnosed with anxiety. The next couple of weeks, months were just so hard on me because I had no appetite. I had so many horrible chest pains. My heart would race out of nowhere. It was to the point where my parents had to take turns taking days off because I was so scared to be alone. I was scared to go to the restroom because I was afraid that I was going to get an anxiety attack. And that's when it kind of just made us wonder, like, how did I get anxiety? Like, nothing made sense. I wasn't scared. I wasn't worried. I wasn't doing anything that caused my anxiety to happen out of nowhere. For some reason, my parents just started talking about the wrong medication that I took, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna Google it up really quick, see what the side effects were. And that's when I saw fast heartbeat, irregular heartbeat. I ran across this forum that talked about people who actually passed away from taking the medication because it was too much for their body to handle, it was too much for their heart. And then I read how a lot of people also got anxiety from it. And I was like, there is my answer. I couldn't believe that I got anxiety from getting prescribed the wrong medication. And it was just very upsetting to us because the doctor just prescribed me that medication without even knowing if I actually had bronchitis or pneumonia. And so that's why I'm sharing my experience with you guys. Hopefully you guys won't make the same mistake that I did. I mean, doctors, they're great, amazing people, but they're not always right. There are times when they do mistakes. Whenever they prescribe medication, please make sure that that medication is for you, that that medication is something that your body is going to be able to handle. If you ever have a question on it, or if there's a reason why you think you shouldn't take it, then please let the doctor know. Ask them if there's something else that you can take that will help you with your health situation. I mean, you guys are probably looking at me and saying, yeah, that's common sense, but I honestly didn't know. I completely trusted the doctor. I thought she knew what she was doing, and she didn't. And it's also my fault because I could have easily checked the side effects of the medication that she prescribed to me, but I didn't. So if you're watching this video and you have anxiety, my prayers are with you because something that's completely scary. I remember it was to the point where I was starting to get depression from it because it just completely changed my mood. I wasn't hungry. I was feeling sad for no reason. I felt like this like feeling of doom, if that makes sense. Like I just felt like something was going to happen, but that wasn't the case. It just makes you worry for no reason. I'm just very blessed that I'm not going through that anymore. Some of the tips that I did to help me get through that anxiety was going out a lot. I remember I ran a couple of times with my fiance to try to clear my head, to try to release any of that stress, any of that sadness that I was going through. I also did the breathing rates that my mom helped me whenever I felt like I was going to get another anxiety attack. I just slowly breathed in. I held my breath for like about 10 seconds and then I slowly let it back out, and kept doing that over and over until I felt like my symptoms were finally calming down. So that's what I was going through these past couple months. Aside from that, I also had all 4 of my wisdom teeth removed, so that was like 2-3 weeks of healing. It wasn't actually that bad like I expected, like I thought it was going to be, but I'm glad I got them out because it just took away so much pain from my mouth. So yeah, so if you have any questions, if you guys want me to talk or make a video on how to deal with anxiety, how to overcome it, how to deal with it, please let me know down in the comments below, and I will try to make a separate video answering your guys' questions. So with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!